Thanks for joining us here at our beaches, cities. Grateful for the communication and the work that we all do together for all of the citizens of Duval County. Yesterday, I declared a state of emergency for Duval County, and with that closed a number of facilities indefinitely, including TIA Bank Field, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, Times Union Performing Arts Center, Prime Osborne Convention Center. They'll remain closed until further notice. We've also closed the Jacksonville Zoo, public libraries, and parks. In addition, we've suspended event permits for large gatherings and stopped such gatherings at city parks and property through the end of this month. We're working with the Supervisor of Elections on plans to keep libraries, fire stations, and other city buildings that serve as voting locations to remain open exclusively for early voting and the Tuesday election. I want to talk just a few minutes about why we're doing this and the importance of social distancing, the importance of washing your hands, the importance of not touching your face. It's called flattening the curve. And in places that don't do these types of things, you can Google this or look this up. You see the COVID-19 spike like this. What that does is that stresses healthcare providers, that stresses hospitals, and that's what you saw. It is happening in Italy. So the actions that we're taking will prevent and mitigate that scenario playing out here in Duval County. I've had these conversations with the leaders of our local hospitals, and all of the stuff we're doing, as inconvenient it is, as frustrating it is, it's necessary and it's important to flatten the curve. There is no need for panic or fear right now. We live in an era of data and information. All these decisions are data-based and in the best interest of your health. So with that, it's good to be out here. I'll turn it over to Mayor Brown.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Curry. I appreciate all of you being here because spreading this message is what's important. When Mayor Curry decided, and he gave us a call, and I want you to know that we've been in great communication with Mayor Curry and with his staff, and we are saying the very same thing. Use good common sense. However, in order to not have city council meetings and not encourage the public to gather, we are going to sign an emergency declaration as well, and we will be able to close our public meetings. And the reason we are closing them, of course, is to be a part of this curve, to stop it, and to make sure that we are telling and saying to everyone, use that good common sense, but also be very, very tuned into our website, Jack's Ready, and certainly the CDC, and make sure that you're tuned into all of that. The three beaches mayors are here. We are together saying to you the beaches are open. There is no closing of the beach that is being talked about, that private sector gatherings are going to be happening, but we are encouraging people. Don't go to big gatherings. Try to stay away from them. I think 500 is something that the city of Jacksonville has said, and we are encouraging you to use this good common sense and make sure that if you're at a gathering, use your hand sanitizers, keep your distance, and make sure that this is something that we're practicing. We are going to be signing the declaration, but at this time, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague over here from Atlantic Beach, Mayor Glasser, who I'm very proud to say with Mayor Glasser and Mayor Latham that we are working together with Mayor Curry to keep Duval County and to keep the beaches residents safe. Mayor Glasser.
Thank you, Mayor Brown, and thank you for coming to the beach, Mayor Curry. So I'm Ellen Glasser, the mayor in Atlantic Beach, and I will say that our city did declare a state of emergency late last night, and so all three beaches are going to be on board with having a state of emergency declared. And so we are ceasing our city meetings at least through March. And we also are suspending any city-sanctioned, city-sponsored activities in the city of Atlantic Beach. We have a number of public parks, and you can't put gates up in front of all of them. They're public spaces, but we really are discouraging the gathering of many people in those parks. We're going to continue our essential services and do everything we can to sanitize the facilities because we know people will use them. The beaches are open, but I would just caution folks that even though there's an extended spring break and many activities have been canceled, this is really not a party time. please come and enjoy the beaches, but do heed the advice of the health professionals in terms of distancing yourself from people, not shaking hands, hygiene rules, things like that, because that's what's going to contribute to flattening the curve, and that's really important so we don't overwhelm the healthcare system. So we have to work the problem together. We're all in this together. It's not a time to panic, but the public safety of our residents is our number one concern. And so this is kind of a no-brainer for us. When the president declares a state of emergency, the governor does, the city of Jacksonville does, we're on board with that. And so we are all united. We're all in this together. So let's be good neighbors. Let's be smart, but there are people that are going to be in need. And in Atlantic Beach, about 20 to 25% of our residents are considered the vulnerable population of over age 60. So let's not forget that. So thank you very much for your interest in this. Let's be smart together, and we'll work through this problem and get back to normal, hopefully before too long. Thank you. And this is Mr. Mayor Charlie Latham from Jacks Beach, my colleague, and happy to work with him always.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mayor Curry, and your staff for all the support and communication. And I want to thank all of you for being here today to help us spread the word. It's been said several times, but it doesn't hurt to say it one more time. Common sense is really critical at this point. Need to make sure that you're explaining to your children how the virus spreads and making sure their hands are clean and sanitizers are used. But Jacksonville Beach is open. Excuse me. Jacksonville Beach is open and will be open on Monday. Our city hall will be open. Beaches Energy will be open. It's carry on business as usual, but we're counting on everybody to use common sense to take care of yourselves and your family. So again, thanks for being here. And if you have any questions, you can go to our website as well, and we'll keep everybody posted. Public meetings are closed until further notice, as are public entertainment events that are done on city property are closed until further notice. But thank you, Mayor.
Thanks.
Thank you all. I'm going to sign our declaration right now, and that will be, putting into effect what we have already shared with you, and that is that these public meetings, including city council, are going to be suspended through the month. And we'll be looking, again, working with you and seeing what evolves and how we're going to work from there.
Can you talk about right now what this means for day-to-day operations and as far as government is concerned, the three beaches community?
Yeah, sure. We're open. City Hall is open. We're going to have sanitation everywhere, sanitizing everywhere. We're even sanitizing our playground equipment. But again, not to worry about paying your water bill. If you want to do it online, you can certainly do that. You can come here to do it. And again, we're going to be sanitizing the all of the doors, door handles, and having it available to the public. Business as usual, but no public gatherings. We are right in line with the mayors to simply say this is what we're trying to avoid.
So in Atlantic Beach, the people that can work from home, we're trying to work on remote access for some of those people, but for essential services, they will continue. We're trying to help our residents either drop off payments for their utilities in the drop box, or to call us, or to go online. So we're going to try to drive that a little bit, but we are open for business. We'll continue to do the same things that Mayor Brown spoke about in terms of sanitizing the surfaces and the door handles and things like that. But all essential services are continuing, with the exception of the commission meetings, which are canceled. And so the public's not going to be coming into the City Hall space during those meetings. So again, to sort of limit the gatherings.
Also a big concern, the beach's town center filled with people because of the restaurants and the bars. Anything that you specifically want to say for people that are traveling and congregating in that area?
Yes. The beaches are packed right now. There were thousands of people on the beach yesterday. There were a lot of people who I consider to be TPC certainly canceled. You had a lot more people from the colleges and from schools that are looking for something to do. It's safe on the beach. In fact, getting out in the sunshine and healthy air is something I would encourage, but use that good common sense. We are encouraging all restaurants, all bars, to double up on sanitation, to make sure that you've got the ability for your customers to feel safe, and that way you can certainly contribute to what we are saying, and that is be safe, stay safe, and use and do what the CDC is asking us to practice.
With more visitors in town because of TPC, other events, is the lifeguard station, and the weather is so beautiful out, with more people heading to the beach, is the lifeguard station doing anything in particular to help with the coronavirus and just taking extra precaution?
Absolutely. Our chief of police is here, and he is over the lifeguards. And we have put all lifeguards on duty, and we beefed that up because we had people in the water yesterday, et cetera. But again, it is just we're trying to help the people that are coming here, and we're asking them to help us. Make sure when you're going to these restaurants and when you're going to use the cautions, do the sanitizing of your hands, and let's all stay safe. We're not going to close the beach. We're not going to try to tell people to stay inside, but we are going to encourage bars, restaurants, public places to make sure that what you are doing is what is advertised by the CDC on their website, Jack's Ready, and our website, and that is to be cautious, and let's stop this thing.
And by the way, the reason, one of the reasons you work to flatten the curve, if you will, if you read the material and look at the history, is to prevent a scenario where you have to basically shut everything down. By common sense measures of social distancing and all the precautions, the hand washing, not just going to the hospital right away, as we said, so you don't stress the systems. I think I either heard a scientist or an epidemiologist say about 15% of patients will require hospitalization. So if people have symptoms, that's why they should do a virtual online access to test their symptoms or talk to a physician before they go.
So I would just like to add that this is a rapidly evolving situation, and decisions about lifeguards on duty, those are the types of things that as we make our decisions, we will let you know. I will say that in Atlantic Beach, we plan to communicate with the business owners in terms of some of these hygiene practices to discourage workers from coming if they're not feeling well. I mean, for anyone that's not feeling well or has traveled lately or is vulnerable, we really need to be talking about the self-isolation. So that might not apply to everyone. So again, it's common sense. We can't police what happens in the private sector. All we can do is provide the best education. And I've gotten a lot of communications about these businesses where they're trying to reassure their customers in terms of what they're doing. They're being very responsible, I think. So.
Just want to say, too, that for the services that are provided by the Beaches Council on Aging are still going to remain in effect and open. Dial-A-Ride is open. I understand Beam is going to remain open, and Community Kitchen is going to remain open. So we're looking after the elderly and in the community of particular concern, and we'll continue to do so.
So I will say that Beam is in need of food donations. So there is a drop-off location behind True North. I think it's on, I'm not sure what the address is, but
It's across the street.
it's
right
perfectly
behind
safe to load up your canned goods, your non-perishables in your car and go drop them off, or to make a monetary donation, because there are going to be people that are isolated, alone, and will need help.
Mayor, anything else?
I would add, again, I've been reading and listening to scientists and epidemiologists around the world the last couple of days, and as you see more cases in the state of Florida, no reason for panic or fear. These are likely cases that have been in our state for weeks, and you're now just seeing them materialize, and the actions we're taking now are going to, again, stop this from happening and flatten it out.
Mayor Lenny Curry, yesterday I know that you weren't notified about the first case here in Duval. Have you been in contact with the health department since? I know we tried to go there this morning and no one's in the building, but have you been in touch since?
The director of the Emergency Management Center for the state of Florida called me yesterday and walked me through all of their numbers. It was a great conversation. Gave me a level of comfort. People that need to be tested are being tested. And again, as I look at the data and understand that many of these cases are weeks before we knew it was happening, knew it was here, now we know it's here and we're taking all the precautions. So yeah, I had a great call with the statewide director yesterday.